What's up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing the Resident Evil 2 remake and also just talking about Resident Evil and the story and how it's affected our lives and how it's affected our children's lives and our children's children's lives and our grandparents. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much. To
the T. Virus. Yes. But, so yeah, dude, I've beaten now finally through, I've gone through Leon and I've gone through Claire's story. I've done them both on hardcore. And, dude, I will say, I'm pretty impressed with that game. Like, I really liked Resident Evil 7. I thought that it was a really good game, and I loved the style that they used. I like the type of shooter that it was and the gameplay.
Yes.
I thought it was very cool. And, the way that they did Resident Evil 2 Remake is just flawless. Like, they have definitely found their style.
Mm-hmm.
And from the original, with the fixed camera angles, like, it was just, you know, it would be like a freaking camera up here in the wall and your character would walk in and then, like, I don't even remember how the aiming system worked.
Every room you went in, the camera was fixed.
Yeah.
And you would have to adapt your controls to whatever direction the camera was. It was pretty awkward.
Yeah. Yes, very
But
awkward.
back in the day, I mean, it was
revolutionary. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what it is today. You know?
The angles, though, to me, it gave the developers a way to make it as scary as they wanted.
Yeah.
Because you would only see what they wanted you to see from that angle.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like with this one, it kind of makes it more like you kind of get more. You have more detective kind of qualities now, you know? And they put a lot more Easter eggs. Like, there's the raccoon, Rocky Raccoon or something like that. I can't remember what the raccoon's name is in the game, but there's, like, little bitty trophies that you can go around that whole game, find them, and shoot them and stuff. So that was, like, a whole nother mini-game inside the game. And, I don't know, man. I feel like the graphics, obviously, were a huge upgrade for Resident Evil 2 Remake. The story differs very slightly. There's some story variations, but man, as far as just a fun game, even for people that have never played the Resident Evil games, you can get this game, play all the way through it, and not feel like you really missed out on anything from not playing the ones before or after. It was good, man. I'm freaking digging it.
That's awesome. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I'm, like, stoked to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
Like, ever since I played Resident Evil 7, like, I was so skeptical of Resident Evil 7, because when they announced first person, I was so pissed.
Yeah.
But, it worked out phenomenal. Like, I was hooked from the minute I started that game. And whenever I found out that, the Resident Evil remake was going to use the Resident Evil 7 engine to power it and run it and graphically, it made me, I was just like, this game's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, hands down, because that engine is so good. Like, it has detection on where you shoot them. Graphically,
dude,
it looks, it looks super realistic and super gross at the same time, which is awesome.
There's parts in the game, like, and I think we were talking about this, your cousin Willie has the game, and, like, there's times, obviously, a lot of times, especially in hardcore mode, like, you do not have enough bullets to kill every freaking zombie out there, so you kind of have the opportunity to either, like, just run, try to get away from it, like you will with, like, Mr. X. A lot of the times, you're just going to try to run away from that dude. But, like, you've got that option, or you could just shoot their legs off. And, like, and that's what it is, like, target specific. Like, there's places that you can shoot them, and if you've got a high caliber gun, it's going to, like, take off a certain part of them, and not necessarily totally neutralize them, but get them, like, slow them down enough where you can get around them and then not have to worry about them, you know?
Yeah, which is extremely realistic.
Yeah, and it's very helpful in that game, man. I'm telling you though, dude, like, a lot of people told me Claire's story was a lot easier. No. The freaking, oh my god, like, it cuts a lot of, it seems like her story's a little bit shorter than Leon's, but the guns that she has kind of sucks in comparison to, like, some stuff that Leon has, man. Like, I guess maybe I got used to the way his gun shoots and stuff like that, and she's got a little, like, freaking 6-shooter that, like, has to manually unload and then manually reload it back, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's right there. And she's just like getting her freaking face bit off, just like, so in that aspect, dude, Claire's, to me at least, was a lot harder to beat than Leon's. But
yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day playing Resident Evil 2. That was, like, the first game that legitimately scared me and gave me nightmares. When I didn't even play it, I was watching. Me and Willie actually talked about this the other day. He was talking about just the memories that he had of the original one.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, dude, I remember being at your house one night and you were playing it, and it was at the part where you go into this interrogation room because you needed a key.
Yeah.
And when you walk into the room, it's bright and there's no music. It's really quiet.
Yeah.
And obviously,
obviously
in any game ever since then, maybe not so much before it, but ever since then, anytime you pick up a key or anything, you always got to watch your back because you know something's coming.
Something's about to break out.
But at that point in time, it hadn't been that way in gaming, so I wasn't expecting anything. So basically, you walk into the interrogation room, and it has the two-way glass, so you can see your reflection as you're walking past it, and you go grab the key.
I remember that one.
And it's right whenever the screen, will you take this key? Whenever it goes away, a licker crashes through the window.
Yeah.
And the music is like, dun, dun,
yeah.
And it's just intense, and it scared the piss out of me as a kid. And I had nightmares of it after that. And I never went back to that game because it scared me so bad as a kid until later on in my life.
Nicely done. Dude, I'm telling you though, I remember, so we were talking about this before the podcast a while ago, but whenever me and Nick were young, we were in middle school or whatever, my dad bought us, we went to my dad's house over the summer, and split family homes, what up? And so we went over to my dad's house, and he worked all throughout the week, so he was like, hey, I'm gonna get you guys a PlayStation, and you guys can both pick out a game. I was like, yes, Christmas gamer for the Reeves, baby. So we go there, get a PlayStation, and of course siblings can never agree on anything, so Dad got us both our own game. He was like, you pick out a game, you pick out a game, alright, whatever. So Nick got Resident Evil 2, I got Final Fantasy 7, and I feel like those two choices in our lives, that choice for me and Nick's choice for him, set us on our path. I mean, dude, my brother now, after playing as Chris, or no, he was Leon in the second one, so as he's played as Leon,
first day on the force.
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse.
Dude. So now Nick, freaking National Guard, Mr. He's American soldier, proud of him and stuff, but that's the route he went, alright? He watched these zombies and this dude just killing them all, he went for it. Me, I'm a freaking soldier, and I've been dressing up with a Buster sword and just going off. None of that's true. But freaking Final Fantasy 7, man, I love that game.
The music influenced you, right?
Definitely influenced me. So, no, not a soldier, not any of that stuff, but I definitely am a musician. And, the music in that game was freaking ridiculous. Still to this day, I could, listen to it and be like, that's good.
It reminds me of, when you're in, just, a action RPG or something.
Yes.
And, say you get your first skill point and you have three trees to choose from to put your skill point in. Yours went in one tree, that was the tree right there, the Final Fantasy 7, and then his was the soldier tree right there in Resident Evil.
We just started
and you just went down the path, right?
Yeah. That's what happened, man.
Oh.
But yeah, I think the remake, in my opinion, nothing is really going to surpass stuff as far as nostalgia goes, but I think that's game. Stands alone by itself is a really good game, and I hope that it revamped the franchise. I know Resident Evil 7 did a really good job, but the Resident Evil 2 remake, I hope it just kind of put another stamp on it. I know it sold really well, and I know that they've already greenlit Resident Evil Nemesis 3, so I'm stoked about that. And
Nemesis was terrifying too.
Dude, Nemesis was that for me was worse than the Mr. X.
The first time I saw Nemesis in the game, when you first see him, he has he grabs the dude by the face and the tentacles, it goes through his head.
Yeah, it does.
And when you're younger, you're just oh my.
And their cutscenes back then were actually pretty good,
really good, and it just terrifies you. And I was terrified of Nemesis for the longest time because you couldn't kill him.
I know. Mr. X now, so he dies in the game and all that. Right.
Well, I mean, obviously,
he's gonna die.
People who have played the first one, you know what happens.
So, he's killable. And, Nemesis, dude, that guy just keeps coming back all the time. It's freaking nuts. But, I watched a YouTube video, shout out, and, it explains the entire story of Resident Evil from like chronological order, and it's a long video. It's like a 30-minute thing. I watched it while running on a treadmill one day, and but dude, that explained it so well in like games like Resident Evil 7, where like that mold, and I was like, this kind of lost on me, you know. I was like, this really kind of grabbing for straws and stuff, but that video really explained it. I'm gonna post a link in our description of the video because like I can talk about it, but they covered it all perfectly. So if anybody's really interested, I'm gonna post a link in the bio. But yes, man, so pretty much what it was is like there's a lot of different people that worked at Umbrella, and after Umbrella crashes and the whole system goes to crap, they another person was working on a mold spore that ended up turning into Resident Evil 7, and dude, that game was freaking amazing.
A lot of them are extremely good. Like, I remember there was one called Resident Evil Code Veronica X.
Yeah.
And it originally came out for Dreamcast first, and they re-released it on like the PlayStation 2 or something.
I think so, yeah. Because Dreamcast is good as it should have.
But yeah, I remember there was one specific weekend that I was at Willie's house. And, like, I think my parents were on vacation or something. And from, like, that Friday all the way until Sunday night, we played that game straight through, from start to finish.
Dude,
like, it had us hooked from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And that one was a really, really good one, especially, like, as far as scare factor. Like, there are so many times in that game where you were scared to do things because you knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I remember a specific scene where there's like this thing that was like frozen over, and underneath the ice crawling was a giant tarantula. You could see the shadow.
Yeah.
And
terrifying.
Like, you go to walk over it, you don't want to walk over it because you have to get to the other side, and it makes you walk over the ice, and you don't want to walk over it because you're like, that spider is going to come out and kill me.
Yeah, rational fear to have.
You know, and then like I'm pretty sure that something happens, like you walk over it and nothing happens, but something happens later, and then you're like, crap, I have to go back in that room, and you know that he's in there waiting. Yeah. But yeah, like I mean, Resident Evil is a great series. The only thing that I hope doesn't happen to it is Capcom has a really bad tendency to not finish out their storylines.
Yeah, it's true.
And prime example is Devil May Cry. It has taken them forever to get to the continuing of Devil May Cry 4.
They've posted so many teasers of that happening, but it hasn't, like...
I mean, the newest one coming out is the direct sequel to 4.
Yeah.
But...
Do they have a release date on it yet?
I don't know. But they had the first one, and then the second one was a direct sequel to the first one, and then the third one was a prequel to the first one.
Dude.
And then they had 4 that I think was a sequel to the second one, maybe. And then they went back and completely remade it and called it DMC. Yeah, and had the dark-haired Dante that was a young guy. No word on if that's being continued. Yeah. And then they went all the way back past 4 to this new one that's a direct sequel. Dude. So they completely just went everywhere with it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of, unless you have to do something like watch that video that I'm talking about Resident Evil, they've kind of done that, because like Resident Evil Nemesis apparently was like in a different timeline altogether as well. It's not like the third one.
You were played as Jill.
Yeah. So like,
and she was from
just all over the place.
Resident Evil 1, I believe.
So it's kind of like 1.5 Resident Evil 3. Like Nemesis was, and then they said that Veronica was actually Resident Evil 3. They said Veronica was like in the story chronologically.
I think that 3 was right after 1, but before 2.
So yeah, I mean, like they've got a really bad habit of doing this with the timelines, man. So I think a lot of people like that are getting the games now that have never played them in the past and didn't really know about it. Resident Evil 3 is going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Who's this person?
Yeah.
So, man, I don't know. And then also another Resident Evil thing I've been hearing about, and I'm going to actually look it up on my phone right this second because I really want to know about this, but I've been hearing about Resident Evil Netflix movie.
You want to know what's crazy? I just noticed this, but I'm pretty sure that we both put Jameson in the same cup. Like,
we did!
And we did that.
Yeah! Dang it, I didn't
not planned. That. And then the other one is in the big cup.
Yeah! Dang it. We're good. So it says it's in the works, and let's see. It does not have a release date yet. Of course. Nice. But heck yeah, man.
Does it say what it's going to be about?
No, it doesn't. They just said it's in production right now. So, like, hopefully that's going to be something that happens in the near future. Man, but, so really quick, I want to touch on this too. We're going to start doing more, like, specific episode-specific stuff, like this Resident Evil one. We just did a Jameson and Proper 12 taste test before this episode, and you'll have to check and see who the winner is on that one. But yeah, we're going to start doing more episode-specific podcasts. I think it's going to work out a little bit better than us just...
We're both, like, extremely scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it comes to talking about stuff. Mm-hmm. We go all the way from here to New York.
Yes. And then
back again.
And then somewhere in the middle we'll stick.
Yeah.
But, and I think these are probably still going to be like that, but they're going to be slightly more targeted. So this one, targeted. And
yes, and instead of using a machine gun,
yes,
we're going to be using a shotgun.
Yeah. With slugs. Slug shotgun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Next episode is going to be about Skittles. And then we'll go from there.
Actually, that's not a bad idea, because Skittles is probably one of my favorite candies.
Right? I just ate a whole bag of sour Skittles.
Like,
today.
Seriously, I love the hell out of Skittles.
It's pretty good stuff.
Usually I like eating them with other candies.
Oh yeah?
Like, I'll take however many, whatever colors, because I'm like super OCD. So I like match my colors up, you know?
Yeah.
I get one of each color. And then I'll take like a Laffy Taffy. It goes best with banana though.
I have never done this, dude.
And like I'll wrap them up in the Laffy Taffy.
What?
And then eat it, and then probably take some Nerds. Eat that too. It's really good. Like,
I've never heard of this.
It's a sugar coma in a candy burrito.
I'm digging it, dude.
But it's good.
It sounds good.
Trust me. Try it.
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Skittles. Taste the Heck podcast. Nice. But, well, alright guys. Either way, Resident Evil 2, it's out now. Go buy it. It's freaking awesome. It's definitely worth a play, and hopefully by you guys going out and buying the game and supporting it, they're going to be doing more things, and that will make my zombie-loving heart happy.
Yeah, but I love Capcom. Yeah, as a game maker. I mean, from a young age, like in my younger years, they have always been one of the best video game developers out there. Very low on microtransactions. Because, you know, they fund and produce their own games. They don't have a huge monetized backing publisher like Activision or EA, which are two of the worst about microtransactions because all they care about is money. Yeah. Capcom's always stayed true to a lot of their content. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, they're a good company.
Yeah, definitely like it, man.
Not like Konami, who ruined just about every dream that anyone had of getting a Silent Hills game.
Yeah, they just pulled it, didn't they?
Guillermo del Toro as the director, Norman Reedus starring, and Hideo Kojima as the other
What
director.
happened? Why did they pull the plug on that?
Because they're dumbasses.
Yeah, dude. Silent Hill and Resident Evil were some of my favorite games, dude. Ever.
Like, they got rid of Kojima. Because he wasn't producing Metal Gear fast enough for them.
I'd be like, dude, do you want perfection or do you want something just right now?
Metal Gear Solid 5 was an amazing game, but you can tell the closer you got to the end of it that it was rushed. And that's what happened. They said, if you don't put this game out now, we're shutting it down. So they basically forced him to rush the process to finish the game to get it out. And then they cut him from the company. And then they released that bullshit Metal Gear Survive game. Yeah. That within like the first few weeks dropped down to like $19 because nobody wanted it. Because everybody on the outside was like, we're boycotting this game because you fired Kojima. Yeah. And that's the power of gamers right there. Yeah, man. As a community, like,
they get behind stuff that
of other groups out there. Gamers will freaking shove you into the ground because
it's like,
because they stand together.
yeah, man. I mean, like, honestly, besides work and stuff like that, that's something that you really invest a lot of your time into, that you actually want to do. You know what I mean? Like, gamers, I mean, especially, dude, professional gamers, my God.
Yeah.
It's something that you're definitely invested into.
I mean,
heavily, you know?
a prime example recently that has affected me is Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out, I didn't go super far into Destiny 1, but I played it a little bit. So when Destiny 2 came out, it was fresh for me. I didn't really have any preconceived notions. But for a lot of people, they were expecting this or that, you know. So when it first came out, I was like, yeah, it's awesome. But then the more I got into it, I was like, it's kind of getting boring, this or that, whatever. And it got to the point to where people were boycotting it.
Yeah.
And the community was just like, you have got to change this.
Yeah.
And what Bungie, like, it was affecting the player base so much in the game that Bungie had to fly content creators out from YouTube.
I think that's the coolest thing that person made.
And they said, what can we do to fix our game? And you had these content creators were like, look, this is shitty.
Yeah. You guys
and you have to fix this. If you don't, your game is going to fail. And we're going to make sure that it fails.
Yeah.
Because they have these,
they've got, like, so many viewers, you know?
However many thousands of subscribers on YouTube, and they can put out a video that says, hey, this is why Destiny sucks, don't buy it, don't play it.
Yeah.
And people won't because of that. And Bungie was smart and knew that, and that's why they flew him out. And it actually helped the game.
Yeah.
Like, pre that conference, the game was sucky. After that, I mean, it's gotten better and better, and Bungie has gotten better about listening to their fans. And actually, Activision and Bungie just split.
Really?
And Bungie is producing the Destiny 2 and Destiny 3 from now on by themselves.
Really?
Activision was what was bringing it down, because all they cared about was money and microtransactions, and that's one of the things that people were complaining about.
So many microtransactions. Yeah. Yeah, it bothers them, man, especially whenever you pay, like, you know, $59 for a game, $69, $79 for, like, these limited edition or special edition games, and then you buy it, and you're like, wait, I spend more money to do this? Like, that's it's one thing that really pissed me off about a lot of fighting games. Like, used to, Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, you would go through and win fights to, like, get these unlocked characters. And then, I don't know, this might have been Street Fighter, I can't remember, dude. It might have been in it. If it was Street Fighter, it will piss me off. But it was one of them, it was Street Fighter or Tekken. And I beat the game, you didn't unlock anybody. I beat it with a few other people, you didn't unlock anybody. I was like, how the hell do you unlock people? And you had to buy them. Like, that's the only way you could do it. I was like, this
I know
so
Street Fighter was like that. They have fighter
I think it
packs.
was Mortal Kombat.
They have fighter packs. Mortal Kombat's like that too.
Yeah.
They have DLC packs of characters.
And that's cool to do that for, like, specific stuff, but, like, for characters that, like, should be in the game, like, dude, come on. Like, there should be unlockable stuff that you should do. And, like, that's why I really enjoy freaking Super Smash Bros., the new one. There's so many unlockable characters. Like, I'm sure there's some people that you can buy on there, but every character that I gave a shit about was freaking unlockable, dude.
Yeah. The first DLC character, I don't know if you have to pay for them. I'm unsure on that. But I know the first one got released the other day, and it was the Piranha Plant. But, yeah, freaking microtransactions, like, what Destiny did with it, it made it a lot better. Like, basically what they were doing before was, like, everything cosmetic was behind microtransactions. Like, you had to purchase them. But what they did to fix that was basically they made everything available to be gotten in the game. But every now and then, if they had an event, they would put one thing from the event behind a microtransaction, which is fair.
That makes sense.
So, like, say there was, like, a certain emote that came with, like, Iron Banner one season, but it was behind a microtransaction. But everything else from Iron Banner, you could earn on your own.
Oh, that's cool then. Yeah.
So, like, one thing, and it's purely cosmetic.
And it's not like it would cause any disadvantage to your playing the game. Like, if you just wanted to be extremely badass at the game but not have to pay any extra money after you bought it, you could still do that.
And then weekly, what they did for, like, getting stuff that are cosmetic like that weekly is they made it to where you have a bounty that you can get in-game that gives you this currency. It's like a one. You can hold up to 3 in your inventory at a time, but like weekly, you get a bounty for this currency, and it's called the prismatic matrix. And there's like maybe 10 items in there that you can see. And when you use that currency on the matrix, you have a chance for a random one of those 10 items. And if you get if one of those items you have already gotten, it's knocked out. So like say out of the 10 you have 7 of those items. There's 3 that will be available when you put that matrix in, put that thing in for you would randomly get it. So like what you can do is you can save up your 3 and wait for something that you want to pop up in there and use all 3 of them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
makes sense. Destiny's got figured out, man. I think they definitely, after they did that conference, they really kind of changed.
I'm actually really excited for the future of Destiny. Like I've been hooked on that game for over a year now.
Yeah.
And what they're talking about for the future is really exciting, and hopefully it happens. But they're saying that what they want is more of an open world type game, to where eventually you'll have PvP in game, and you can choose a light side or a dark side.
That'd be really cool then.
And like if you encounter each other in game, I would say probably within certain areas. I don't think they're gonna make it
just
worldwide PvP. Because then you would have people that are like, higher level, just sniping people from miles away.
It's almost like so not necessarily like Dark Souls and stuff like that, PvP, like in the middle of your gameplay.
Yeah, like certain areas would be like contested areas or whatever, I would say.
Yeah.
And then if you're in that area, you would have a risk of getting attacked by another person.
That's one of the things I really like about Dark Souls, man. All the Demon Souls and all that. Just because, like, you could be playing and somebody invades your game and just freaking level 99 and kills you.
I mean, I have so many funny stories from Demon Souls especially. Of, like, getting invaded and...
We need to do a whole episode on that, man.
Dude, that is a good idea.
Hell yeah.
Because I've played all of those games, you played all those games, we have so many stories from them.
Oh yeah.
It's a good idea.
We're gonna have to do that one next. But alright, man. So, you got anything else Resident Evil related you'd like to know out there?
We didn't really talk about the movies.
Oh man, there's
probably a reason we didn't.
Yeah, I know. God, hopefully they make a remake of the movies and they're more horror related than action.
The first one,
not bad,
not so bad.
Yeah, I remember looking back at the first one and being like, yes, like I was young, freaking loved it.
Mila Jovovich. I mean, who doesn't like her? I mean, everybody can look back in their memory and say, oh, the chick from Fifth Element.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad, but the rest of them I honestly can't even remember.
Yeah, and the thing that I didn't
like after a certain point, I just stopped. I was like, oh, another Resident Evil movie.
Another movie. And I don't know, man. I don't feel like the movies did the games justice, Definitely not well enough. I feel like if they were to go back and revamp them, they need to be a lot darker and a lot more like,
It's the problem that just about every video game movie suffers, is there's a lack of directors that want to take over the helm because they're afraid of criticism, and there's a lack of studios that want to fund it. So what you get is subpar studios
sci-fi looking
and subpar directors making these video game adaptations, and they suck because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the truth about it.
Can you think of one video game movie that you're like, I really like this one?
Silent Hill.
Damn it, you're right. The first one was the shit, dude.
The second one,
not so much.
I remember
Revelations or whatever.
Yeah, I went to the theater with some. I think Willie and somebody else, but we kind of got there a little late, so it was already playing. We didn't really care that much, so it was already playing. But some of it that I saw, I was like,
yeah. The first one, dude. And freaking triangle
when that
face,
siren
pyramid head, that your face,
that freaking off took me so off guard because it's just like
grabbed her and just gone. Skin off. I was like, ah!
And you're like, oh my god, because up until that point there wasn't really that much gore.
Yeah, and then that chick with her face beating him with a pipe, dude. That whole movie, I freaking love Silent Hill 1. I'm glad you brought that up, dude.
That's probably. I mean. Yes. Really, that's probably one of the only ones. I would have to think a lot harder to find more.
Yes.
In my brain. I never even saw Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it was like I watched it and I knew what was going on, but that's because I played the video games. Jody had no clue, so it's one of those like you had to watch, you had to play the games to know what's going on in the movie. It did not give you enough backstory. Yeah, I think they tried to give you some backstory, but that story is so in depth. The Assassin's Creed story is such an in depth story to try to make it into like a 2.5 hour movie.
It really is.
Work. Yeah, but yeah,
I mean, like from when you start playing the first one, you're like totally engulfed in the story.
Yeah, and then you get
in the middle, you find out that it's a simulation, and you're like, what? Yeah, that's kind of like Evil Within, though.
Dude, that game was.
That's a good freaking game.
And I don't know. I think they're gonna make a third. I think they will.
I think so too, judging by the ending.
You can't just drive off into the sunset in video games nowadays, you know?
I mean, it's the Terminator 2 ripoff. Where freaking Sarah Connor gets in the Jeep with John Connor or whatever. I think the dog's there too or something.
Yeah.
And they just drive, like, from a gas station, they just drive off.
Yeah.
Like, we won!
Yeah. Not today, John Connor.
Not when there's time travel involved. You never win.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But alright, man. So, I think that wraps it up, dude. I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm pretty hungry.
Well, yeah.
We're probably gonna go eat some Chinese food or something. I don't know.
But yes, either way, Resident Evil 2, go out there, freaking buy the game. You make us happy.
Yeah, check it out. Seriously, you will not be disappointed. I'm stoked to get my hands on it. I know I'm not going to be disappointed. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, as always, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share it around, make fun of us, talk to us in the comments. We'll talk to you guys and
talk trash on us.
Bring it on. Punk ass.
We will challenge you to a
troll
bacon eating contest, and we will smash you every time. It doesn't matter. We could eat a 5-course dinner and still smash you.
Bring it.